In the creeks of River State, deep within the Niger Delta, lies Bille Kingdom, a riverine community accessible only by water, a place where life has always depended on the river. But today, that life is under threat. But Bille is also a community that has lived for decades with consequences of irresponsible oil and gas extraction. For years, operations by companies, including Shell, have left a legacy of oil spills and gas flaring, an aging and abandoned infrastructure in the area. Pipelines run beneath the soil, wells dot the landscape, and the environment has been repeatedly exposed to pollution. Over time, assets have changed hands. Shell sold its toxic assets to shady companies, but the contamination has remained. Today, the long history has taken a dangerous new turn. Since November 2025, something has gone terribly wrong. What began as a strange occurrence has now become a full-blown environmental crisis. Residents woke up to find their rivers bubbling. Gas was rising from beneath the water, from the soil, and from places no one ever respected. Across the community, the signs felt impossible to ignore. Water sources began to change. A monopump that has remained dry for over 10 years suddenly burst to life, gushing water under pressure from beneath the ground. But this was not a miracle. It was a warning.
Look at how pure this water is. It looks pure. Very pure.
Water that looked clean at first turned black within seconds. The community's main source of life has become contaminated, unsafe, unpredictable, and dangerous. Families now struggle to find safe drinking water. Everyday tasks, cooking, bathing, fetching of water, have become acts of risks. Because beneath the surface, something volatile was building, and the impact has spread beyond homes. At the local primary school, gas emission from the ground has contaminated the water supply. The air is thick with pungent fumes. Children have been forced to leave, and classrooms now sit empty, and learning has been disrupted. Then came the fire. A resident, cooking in the open as usual, unknowingly ignited the gas. Flames erupted instantly. What should have been an ordinary moment turned into a dangerous incident. Though no lives were lost, the message was clear. This environment is highly flammable and deeply unstable. The damage is not only human, the environment itself is under attack. Vegetation is turning yellow. Mangrove forests, critical to the ecosystem, are dying. Aquatic life is disappearing.
This whole place, the mangrove has been wiped off. This place was filled up with mangroves.
Waterways that once sustained livelihood are now sources of fear. Fishing is declining, and livelihood are collapsing, and an entire ecosystem is slowly being destroyed. The situation was reported. Authorities were notified. Agencies, including the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency and the Ministry of Environment, visited the community. Samples were taken. Assessments were promised. But months later, there are still no clear answers. What is needed now is urgent and clear. Full transparency on environmental test results, immediate containment and remediation of the gas leaks, access to safe drinking water, emergency healthcare support for affected residents, and an independent investigation into the source of the emissions. Long-term monitoring must also be put in place to protect both the people and the environment. Because the people of Bille cannot afford to wait. They live each day uncertain of what lies beneath their feet, uncertain of the air they breathe, and uncertain of the water they drink. This is more than an environmental issue. It is a human crisis, and the time to act is now.